Hi, I'm Alice and I'm a past media and comms student who did a final major project last year. And today I'm going to chat a bit about what the FMP is and hopefully convince some of you to do one as well. So an FMP is quite different to a dissertation. For it you'll be creating an artefact and then doing an academic written piece about the artefact. About 4,000 words it was last year. And the written piece is not a reflection, I cannot stress that enough. Don't write about how you did the project, that things went wrong, no. It's an academic essay like you would do in any other module, but instead of writing about a TV show, you'd be writing about the artefact that you made. There are lots of benefits to doing an FMP, and I think the biggest one is that it's something that you have made and planned completely yourself. And therefore you can show it to employers and add it to your portfolio, talk about it in job interviews, job applications, and for me so far that's been really beneficial because it's something that makes you stand out a bit. And also if you know what you want to do, you can do something quite specialist. So if you want to work in advertising, you can make an ad campaign, or if you want to work in TV or film, you could make a short film. So you can create something that's super specialist to what you want to do in the future for those employers. So for my FMP, I decided to make a podcast. This is because I did a placement year with a radio station, and so I had all the skills needed to make one, and also I want to work in broadcasting in the future, so it's a great thing to be able to show my employers. So I decided what artefact I wanted to make before I decided my research question, and I'd advise that's maybe the easiest way to do it, just because if I had decided a research topic about lighting, doing an audio piece would have been nearby impossible. So if you know what you want to make, then you can start thinking about research topics that would fit in well with that. So for my actual research topic, I decided to look at how social media has been used to promote the zero waste lifestyle movement. I chose it for a few reasons, the first being I'm passionate about environmentalism. I personally had felt I'd been influenced by social media to start living zero waste, and lastly, I did some initial research into the relationship between social media and zero waste living, and there's quite a bit there. During the course of creating my FMP, the project did grow and develop quite a bit. So I'd originally planned to just do a podcast, and I ended up making a 6-episode podcast series and a website and an Instagram account all linked to the podcast to make it more of a complete project. Therefore, I scripted and recorded 2.5 hours-ish of audio, and I also had to make the website from scratch and create all of the visuals for the Instagram and also for the podcast artwork. There was a lot to be made, but that's the point. It's really fun. You get to decide what your project is, what you want to make, and the amount you want to make. So do what you love and have fun with it, because I really enjoyed making mine. I thought it was really great. So after I had my initial project idea, I had to make quite a few decisions about the artefact and my research. Something that's quite important to know about your FMP: your artefact does not have to include any research in it. So everything to do with your research can be just in the written piece. However, I made the decision to include some of my research in the artefact because I wanted the podcast to be educational and a resource to teach people about the zero waste movement. So I did quite a range of research. So for primary, I did a survey where I asked about 100 people to fill in a questionnaire, and I used the results as statistics in the podcast, and also they're all on the website. And then also I did 6 interviews, which made up probably about half of each podcast episode, talking to a specialist about the specific topic we were talking about. I then also referenced back to this primary research in my written piece, and also all my secondary research, not to do with zero waste living, but to do with the social media and critical analysis of the artefact, then went into that written piece. And so I know you're not writing 10,000 words, but trust me, you need a lot of evidence for your artefact still. So referencing books, articles, radio shows, documentaries, event, conferences, anything that is relevant to what you're talking about include. Personally, I think if you're going to do an FMP, you really do need to conduct some primary research, because the more specialised your research is to your artefact, the much easier it will be to do your academic write-up. So, for example, if you're maybe making a short film, could you get people to come and watch it and fill out a questionnaire about it afterwards? Because then you can include that in your write-up. It's all super relevant and specialist, so it will help with all your justification about why you've made it and why you've made your artefact this way. The research takes a long time, and making your artefact will be the fun part, but you also still have to do lots of reading whilst making it to ensure that your artefact is on track and is research based. And I know 381 Mapper is not the most exciting module to do. You don't get to make anything, it can feel like it's going to be a bit boring. Honestly, make the most of it. It teaches you the foundation for all the research methods that you have the option to use, and it's a really great space to think about your project and come up with ideas, talk to your lecturers, talk to your friends, discuss what you want to do and how you're actually going to go about making it and conducting the research. So a couple of tips for if you're going to be doing a final major project is be prepared to rely on others. Your project is so big, you will be collaborating at some aspect of it, and so your time schedule you create will have to be a bit flexible, because people cancel, things come up, locations are busy, so yeah, be prepared for that. Once you know what you want to do for your project, I'd suggest doing some initial research just to make sure that there is evidence out there to back up what you're talking about, because it will make your write-up much easier. Have a clear target audience and aim for your project. It will help with your justification in your written part and also help keep your project on track. I'd suggest making your life as easy as possible and creating an artefact with something that you're confident in making, because it has to be industry standard. So if you've never done photography or photo editing before, maybe doing a photo essay or photo collection wouldn't be the best choice, but that is up to you. Also, make sure you make the most of your supervisor meetings. They're very short, so send lots of your work in advance. You can send questionnaires, interview questions, scripts, draft edits of your work, visuals you've created. The more feedback you get, the better your project will be, and it's a great space to do that. Also, I would consider issues around copyright, just because with students, I know it doesn't apply to your university work, but I'd avoid using copyright audio, visuals, footage, images, just because if you use them, then you can't submit your work to other things. So if you make a film, you can't submit it to a film festival or anything in the future because it's got copyright material. So I would say do it all original, or ensure that the copyright restrictions don't affect what you've created. And lastly, most important really, is make sure you are passionate about your research topic. If you're not particularly interested in it, you will find this whole year really boring. So be passionate, take something you love, and I hope you do a final project and that it all goes really well for your final year of uni. Bye!